The experts that best communicate their culture and their vision to their potential clients are those entrepreneurs that we remember. I'm Shelby Jo Long with the Expertise Podcast, and here we explore the stories of those entrepreneurs to inspire you to think about how you can monetize your expertise. Love that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Expertise Podcast. I'm Shelby Jo Long, and I'm here to help entrepreneurs like you transform your expertise into a business so you can be more passionate about your business and be excited about your business. And I like to use this platform to be able to interview people that I know and experts that I know that have transformed their expertise and what they do into a business. And they're able to transform and communicate with people in that way on their expertise platform. So today we have the opportunity to learn about Joel Phillips and his business Proshark. And Joel Phillips and I know each other in a few different spaces. We work together with clients in the communication space. Joel is definitely more in the technical space, and I'm much more in the human communication space. So there are definite synergy there, but it's all about getting your message to the right audience. He's going to talk a lot about that and his platform and what he does in his business. But we also work together in the Strategic Advisor Board, which we'll also talk about later, which is a group of 10 experts that are all together to create the best solutions that we can for small businesses. And we've worked together in many different places. So I'm really excited to get to know Joel and get to know his story a little bit. And it's really exciting for an audience to be able to understand a person's story behind their business. So you know a little bit about more of their business, how they came into business and how they had the opportunity to transform their expertise into their business to maybe influence you into digging into your expertise. So before we begin, the questions, the list of questions that I showed Joel earlier, I want to just ask you, Joel, to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your current business.
Thank you, Shelby. My name is Joel Phillips. As Shelby said, Proshark is my current business. It's a digital marketing agency on one side where we help people going through the transition in the marketplace, which is really significant right now. We'll probably touch on that in just a little bit. But maybe more importantly or equally important is the fact that it is a software as a service or SaaS platform that is designed to bring a business owner under one roof as far as all of their CRM needs, as far as all of their marketing needs, to control their sales, to understand their business, and to automate the workflow, to take the menial tasks that cost so much time, which we all know that time is a precious commodity, but it's designed to take those menial tasks and automate them so that the business owner can save time and can track the efforts of their team to a point where they can refine, because business improvement is always about measuring and refining. And it's those small things that add up and take so much time. So that's what the company is designed to do.
I am excited to get into my own platforms in the management system, because it is so much more than the CRM system where you communicate with your customers. It's just a comprehensive system which makes life a little bit easier, and the communication piece of it too. And I love talking about communication and how to make things easier and simpler. And it's just so interesting to hear about what you do and the technical side of it. And I try to do that on the other side of that. So I just really, the human communication side with business culture and branding and messaging. And I think there's just a lot of synergy there. So that's exciting.
Well, and it's interesting, not to interrupt, but it's when technology came out, it was supposed to make life simpler. And I don't think that there's anybody out there who agrees that technology has made life simpler. So we're actually going back to those roots. And that's what we're trying to do for the business owners, to make life a little bit simpler, more controllable, and to where they don't have to integrate 25 pieces of technology just to do a daily or perform their daily operations. So
I think that's been that as a solo entrepreneur, stepping out on my own, creating my own business, creating my own, picking a platform to put my digital course on and getting a CRM system, and to have all of these independent pieces that should be speaking to each other, that's just really challenging to get them to speak to each other. I think that's been one of the biggest challenges for me, and I'm very excited to have it all in one place. I think it's going to make a big impact. So that's I'm excited.
Good. We're excited too.
Would you say with your system, I'm a small business owner. Would you say that system was created for small business owners, or is there a multitude of places where that could exist?
Okay, the system's called Impro, short for Marketing Pro, and that's what we've named it at this time. And we're getting out to what I call UV1, which is ugly version 1. So we're actually just coming out of beta, and the response we've had just coming out of beta has been nothing short of amazing to me. It shows how much business owners want products that actually can create more efficiencies for them and save them time. What it's designed for is everybody from the solopreneur to the people mid-stage, and then we even have custom implementations for people who are a little bit larger, because what happens over time with businesses is this, and it starts from day one. A business goes into operation, and then they have this system that they need. They need a CRM, they need an email piece, and all of these things get added on over time, and none of them are integrated. And what happens is you lose the inefficiency, or you lose the efficiency to be able to say, okay, this email campaign is working great this way, but what impact has it had on my CRM? Because they're disjointed, you can't see that. So what we're trying to do, or actually what we're doing, is bringing everything in tandem with each other. We're integrating those pieces to where you can look at a report at the end of the month and say, I ran these campaigns. This is how many consumers I picked up. This is how many leads I've got. This is how many people have turned into customers from those leads, from the conversion efforts I've made. And now you're able to, if you can understand what the impact of your campaigns and such has had on those people, you can now make the adjustments you need to make to refine those campaigns and make them perform even better. Because it's all about conversion, and it's all about turning leads into customers. And we'll get into it a little bit later on, but the marketing environment has changed significantly. And there's a few factors that we can discuss a little bit later that have predicated the change in the marketplace. And digital marketers, they've come out in droves, because everybody who's a digital marketer, everybody who has a computer is a digital marketer per se. Right. But now their expertise is truly being tested, and the current environment is testing it. So we can get into that a little bit more if you want.
Yeah, before we get into that though, I want to, the one thing you were talking about is creating these custom solutions for your clients. And I have been a part of that process, because we've been working together for the past couple of months, and you built my platform, and basically it just amazes me that I could just say, this is what I want. And then you can create that, and all the technical background that needs to happen to create that. And that's definitely a skill I don't have. I'm not very technologically savvy, which this platform sounds like it's going to be great for me to use, because I'm not that technologically savvy. But all that background and all that custom creation, I think is such an admirable piece of your business. Can you give me some background of where that came from? I don't imagine it just came out of the air. You have quite a bit of background and experience in building these types of things. Can you talk a little bit about your background before we talk more about your MPro system?
Sure. So staying away from the MPro system just yet, the impetus for it came many years ago, and it was as I was building another platform for another effort in the real estate space. I used to, my background's a little bit diverse. I don't know if you want to cover background, or if you want to cover background as it relates to this field. I'm not sure exactly how you want to do it, because it's pretty interesting background. But
you've worked in, I think the whole background is really interesting. And then, because you've worked in real estate and blockchain. You have all of these different experiences,
Yeah.
and I'm guessing they all contribute to the formation of this new system.
They actually do this. This system's been in an idea for many years. Just because I understood at the very beginning of my career, which is a long time ago, but my my interest has always been in making technology actually function as it's supposed to. And when I say that, again, I come back to where we started, which technology is supposed to make life easier. It is supposed to make life more simple. It is not supposed to create this conundrum where you have to have a platform to do this, a platform to do that, a platform to do this. Because as I said, businesses, they collect these along the way and there's no integration. So at some point, it just came to a point where um, I said, we have to create something along these lines. So that's where we got started with Impro. My background and its diversity, which is a diverse background. I started a long time ago. I got business degree, then I got a master's degree in technology, and then started working. Well, actually, before that, I was working with software CRM companies. I developed and started the Sony Business Intelligence Group for the Sony Pictures Digital Entertainment Division, where we
Wow.
took data from Sony Music, Sony Electronics, Sony Pictures, and we munched it all together to create projections and data, because at that time Amazon had come out with their projection engine, so we needed to model that and not copy it, but we came up with our own solution that did the same exact thing. So that's where I got my start with data. Then later down the road, I went into real estate because it was just hot at the time and I was tired of technology, I thought. So I
Yeah.
got out of real estate. Little did I know, I actually built up a pretty good sized company, but little did I know I missed technology significantly because it's just my lifeblood. Um, so we started building a SaaS platform. Even before SaaS was really popular, we started building a SaaS platform to make recommendations for investment properties. And in California, that's it was a pretty hot commodity, right? So
Sure.
we actually built up a system and built up a base of users where we had projections as far as we built intelligence around what type of house they should buy, houses that came up on the market. We would make recommendations to investors where they could swoop in and buy a property before it even really got aged on the market. And they got some pretty good deals from that. And then we built on the add-ons for the SaaS platform, et cetera. Um, but then, of course, the real estate market took a tank nationally. Yeah. So we transitioned, but that's kind of when I started getting out and saying, you know what, my real passion is this, is Impro and Proshark. So we transitioned into that. Uh, did a little bit with it at the time. Then somebody offered me a position which I took, which I should not have taken because it took me away from my true passion.
Sure.
And that, but the little did I know that all of this expertise in the back, all of this experience that I had in background, whether it be business, whether it be technology, whether it be SaaS platforms, database, security, the whole nine yards, led to where I am today. So that experience, no matter who you are, what you are, where you are, you can utilize that experience to do whatever it is you want to do at any point in your life. And that's what I decided to do. And that's how I ended up here. So
Awesome. It's I when you find and think about how all those connections are drawn together and how it's helped create the vision that you have for now your extremely successful business that's only going to get bigger and only going to grow because now you have this amazing tool that it, any business can use to help make things more aligned. I think it all. I don't know. It's nice to hear about those different experiences. To
well,
me,
thank you.
that
Actually, can I speak to that? I believe
please.
in, yeah, I believe in a lean management system or lean development system. What that means is lean is, it may not look the prettiest. It may not be the, it may have some issues when I put it out. And that's why we started when we were beta. But the thing is, the most important thing platforms, and what a lot of developers can't seem to grasp is platforms are not built and then clients come to the platform.
Right.
Platforms are built for the client. The client is the most important equation in building a platform. And that's where I attribute a lot of my success so far. And that's the philosophy that I'll continue to maintain is we are here for you, not the other way around. So
Right. I have, and speaking to that, just sitting across from you or in the same Zoom room from you with you, when we take clients through that experience, I think that's I, I, I really enjoy the custom piece. I think it's really, and how the communication and the needs of every client are different, and being able to create something, a platform that for them is, I think, one of the most admirable pieces about your business. And I think
oh,
that,
thank you.
and just that custom solution, because there's so many, and I am currently on another platform, and many other course creators and many other people are using whatever CRM platform they want or wherever they want to host their own courses, but it's not theirs. And I didn't realize how important that was in the marketing piece, and how important that was in the Google Analytics and how people find you, until I started working with you and with the Strategic Advisor Board. And I think that's something important for all small business owners to know. So can you talk about the connection between the marketing and how those pieces, not when they have all those disparate pieces and they're not working together, can you talk more about that and how that's
Sure. So there's several facets to that. It seems at the face value, it's a simple question, but it's not. The foundation of any system that's adaptable is the flexibility in that system. So if you build, and this comes back to the lean environment, if I built a fully pieced out platform that was just ready, it was all pretty and beautiful and everything was in place when I released it, how easy would it be to make it flexible? It wouldn't, because it's already constructed. To go back and change this breaks this, and to go back and change that breaks something else. So what we did at the very outset of the framework is we designed it to be flexible enough to make those adjustments to workflow. There's certain things that are static and there's certain things that are flexible. Having business experience, I understand more of the things that need to be flexible from a workflow perspective. So we left the things that need to be adjustable, flexible, and we made static the things that had to be static that don't typically require too much adjustment.
right?
So that's one component of it. The second component is the follow-up use of the platform. So in order to use it effectively, we understand it's a complex platform. It is. And because it's doing everything under one roof, we understood the need for training and the ability to have one-on-one FaceTime with people to take you through the process. And that's why we not only built a great platform, we built the support behind it. We don't have you email something in. We give you a Slack channel access to somebody who can support you right then and there when you have a question. Because if you don't have that, then you're sitting around waiting, you're getting frustrated with the platform. And we get it. Not everybody is a developer, nor are they meant to be. That's the challenge with most of these systems that get put out is we have somebody there to say, hey, this is how you do that, or this is another way to accomplish what you're trying to do. It's the best way inside the system. And if that suffices, great, then we get you set up and running with what your question right away. If not, then we go back to our development team and we say, how do we fix this? There's very few problems that we can't fix in this platform. So that flexibility has been, I think, the mainstay, and the ability to develop automated workflow and systems has been the reason behind the success of the platform, is because we can go into a solopreneur's operation. We can say, you know what, if you need this workflow, here it is. We can go into a $50 million company and say, if you need this workflow, here it is. And we can help define it as well. So,
Yeah, I think that's and I'm going to switch and kind of talk about the strategic advisor board and how that kind of works. I think it's a good segue because the whole purpose of you and I are on the strategic advisor board together, and it's been really fun to see how that group has developed, and we've started to create that energy that we provide only custom solutions to clients. And there's no, to use Jason's phrase, there's no cookie cutter anything that happens within the strategic advisor board. And I think there's where the synergy lies a lot with what you do and the way your platform is designed technologically and the way that whole system works. So can you I guess talk a little bit about that and talk about your involvement with the strategic advisor board?
Sure. I don't know whether we cap off Proshark right now because I did want to mention something with regard to marketing.
Sure.
But we can do that afterwards, however you want to handle it. But strategic advisor board, I love strategic advisor board. And let me tell you why, because it is at a certain level, always custom implementation, always custom solution, always custom problems that need to be solved. And that is, if I had one passion, it's the ability to solve problems. It's the ability to address issues, refine them, and make them better, and leave the world in a better place than I found it. Leave the world, the customer, the whatever situation it is, in a better place than I found it before I got there. And that's what I can do from a technological side. I value the interaction that we have from a SAB, the Strategic Advisor Board perspective, because all of the diversity of background is what adds the value to the client. And that value coming together as a power of 10 is, to me, so fundamentally important and so fundamentally powerful that we can take pretty much any situation that any company finds itself in, whether it's growth and scale, whether it's turnaround, whether it's obstacle removal, whether it's systems and procedures, no matter what, we can always touch that company and make it better. And working alongside with the owner of that company to come and help them get through a process or situation that we've, out of all of our expertise, probably faced before, it's a great thing to me. It's just so powerful, and it drives me to be better in that role, so because I enjoy it so much. So
absolutely. And we'll get to marketing right after this, but
okay.
for those, and we haven't talked about the structure of the strategic advisor board, but there are 10 of us on the board, and we all have such varying backgrounds. I'm more in the branding, communication, programming side of things. You're on the technology side of things. We have somebody that does merchant accounts. Jason, the CEO, owns multiple businesses. So there's just many different avenues of solutions for businesses when they come through the whole process, because the whole idea is to help a business grow and scale, and then do what they want to do, exit or keep growing, whatever they want to do. And we can help businesses do that, because you need all of those pieces put together to be able to manage a business in that way. And I think that's a very powerful piece of it.
And actually, to add to that, is business owners, CEOs, it's a lonely world. It's because we all think that, all of us, not one of us, I think, is different. All of us feel like we're on this island because we have a responsibility to vision and direction of the company. We all feel like we're on an island. So, who out there can we get to come visit our island and help us through situations that we're not familiar with? Or how do we, get advice on how to do things better? We reach out to people that we do not know their level of expertise or their level of experience, because so many consultants aren't experienced in the roles that they play or that they consult on. But imagine being on that island and a cruise ship stops by, 10 people hop off and say, hey, we're here to take you home. I mean, that in and of itself is so powerful to me, because you've got all of these people with diverse backgrounds. No matter what situation you're in, they have probably seen that situation before, and they can apply not only their expertise to the solution of a problem, they can apply the other 9 CEOs that are helping a business owner out, in addition to using that business owner and guiding them to help grow their experience through the process, to not only resolve the situation today, but resolve it going forward in the future. So just wanted to add that.
No, that's it's the words that stick out to me are the partnership and the camaraderie and I like that. I like that metaphor about the island and there's all these people that are coming to help you out and to help you out in every way that we can. And
At a level that they understand the business owner and the CEO. They understand that it's not like they're people who, don't understand. They're just consulting, whatever, and not to denigrate the experience of many consultants out there. There are great ones out there, but this is a proven board of CEOs who know the problems that you're facing, who have experienced it themselves. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have a great transition to marketing. Speaking
nice.
of the problem that I have, it's not a problem. It's just something that I haven't invested much in marketing. I know that you and your business have done, you now have this new part to your business of digital marketing. And digital marketing is kind of a scary world for me, because I know lots of solopreneurs that have invested a lot of money in digital marketing, and it's produced very little for them. And I'm in that space too, where now I have this new platform, and it's going to be amazing, but I have to put some money into it to.
It's like, now what? Right.
Right. Now I have this great thing, and I've done a lot of organic marketing with podcasting and my YouTube stuff and all that, but there needs to be that extra step. But then I think I'm aware a lot of small business owners is like, I don't know what kind of money to put in there or where to put it. So maybe that's a good transition into the discussion about marketing and what you do.
Sure. Okay, so I'll try and condense this as much as possible. It's and it's not, for us, it's not a side business. It is where Proshark, I mean, I've got digital marketing experience back for many, many, many years, more than I care to remember. But where Proshark sits is our platform is a facilitator to understand your digital marketing and understand the impact that it has on your business, because we understand that digital marketing is blind to many business owners. Now I'm going to go backwards a step and say, as the remote, as people went remote, as companies went remote, digital marketers, because of the job transitions, et cetera, digital marketers came out of the woodwork. And you couldn't, I'll leave the metaphor out of but you couldn't swing anything without hitting a digital marketer. The challenge being is the expertise in digital marketing wasn't there. It's, yes, at face value, you run a paid ad, and here's what happened to many business owners. They ran a paid ad, that digital marketing got run, and back in the day, it used to work beautifully because the platform wasn't so full and there wasn't so much noise out in the marketplace. Now everybody's gone online with their business, whether it be established businesses, new businesses, businesses in the middle. They've all gone online, and what they're fighting is this mad rush as people came to digital market or online marketing, online sales. As people came into that space, everybody was busy for a while, but now the noise is so great. Back in 2016, and I'm going to explain where the difficulties now lie, because that's no longer the case. You can't go to Facebook and run a paid ad and get any type of return on investment just putting an ad up there and running it. You just can't do that anymore. The concept of community we came out with back in about 2015, 2016, we came out with the concept of community. And that was the whole idea of putting technology back to where it should be. But then what's happened is, I mean, everybody didn't go to the community theory until pretty recently. And now we're a little bit ahead of the curve from that perspective because our whole platform is designed to build community. That is the purpose of this platform. And we're adding a marketplace to that community. We're adding the ability for people to chat across accounts if they so desire. So all of that community is critical nowadays. And I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time getting down in the weeds, but let's just say that GDPR, or the General Data Protection, uh, oh, I forget what the R stands for, but it's General Data Protection. It's the EU version of a privacy policy enforcement. It came about in 2016. 2018, the California Consumer Protection Act, CCPA, um, came about and was enacted. And those two, the European version of privacy protection was kind of the impetus or the public launch of the attack against marketers. And when I say attack, I don't mean necessarily an attack. The design was to protect the consumer and their privacy online. So it's not an attack, but it does directly impact the marketer. So that impact started off small, but it's becoming more and more of a groundswell to the point where California Consumer Protection Act, or Privacy Act, it actually went further, and in the United States protected consumer privacy and is now out there. Both of these have not created this huge groundswell yet, but it won't be long before they do, because just recently Apple on their iOS platform, version 14, I believe it was, has now incorporated pixel blocking and cookie blocking unless a consumer actually and actively opts into that. So that's what impacted Facebook advertising to the tune of about 40%. And a lot of businesses lost their ability to recover ROI on that advertising. Well, guess what? Google's right on their heels.
Right.
So, and Google, while Apple did this and they were very public about it, Google's very private about it, but it's going to have even more impact on a much bigger space. Their purpose, or their purpose of incorporating these changes, is also a little bit more, I don't want to call it nefarious because it does protect consumer privacy, but it's more designed to pull Google's world into itself. So in other words, they're creating their own mega community within Google. They're making it more strict on advertisers with a 3-strike policy that comes out in September of this year. June 3rd and July 2nd, I think those are the dates. Not, they're within a day or so, but they incorporated 2 algorithm changes to their searches that now penalize sites that load slowly on mobile. So the mobile platform, if your site doesn't load in 3 seconds, now it's getting penalized on Google and their search platform. These changes, they keep them very close to the vest, but it impacted sites built on like WordPress that are slower to load just because of the size of the platform, and impacted it to the tune of 25% of the world's population, website population, is built on WordPress.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've come out with a platform that loads in about 3 seconds on mobile. So that those changes, and the whole point being, and I'm sorry, I kind of got off into the weeds. I apologize for doing that. But those changes, and let me add with one final fact: Google Flock came out last year. As federated learning of cohorts changes from cookies and pixels to community. So guess what? Google is community building on steroids. And the whole result of this is that the digital marketer that came into play last year or whatever, if they don't maintain the expertise to understand these things, then how in the world? And that's why we see a negative return for many solopreneurs. We see a negative return on their digital marketing because they don't truly understand the marketing and what's going on behind the scenes. So if your digital marketer doesn't understand that, how are they going to have a positive impact in a difficult marketing environment? So um, I know that was way involved and maybe more so than we
Well,
wanted.
it's it it still is an explanation that everybody needs to hear because of where they should be putting their dollars or how they should be thinking about their business or what they should be thinking about doing for their business and thinking about where to spend those marketing dollars and maybe to re-strategize how to do that. I think it's all really important information. I don't read about that stuff, so it's good to hear about that, and I think it's an important piece to
Yeah, and
piece.
I will finally cap it off with one last statement. If you're a business and you don't have a marketing strategy going into this coming year, uh, then you're going to spend money. It's what we call the spaghetti effect. You're going to spend money needlessly, especially if you're looking to more than one agency who specializes in individual platforms. You have to have a cohesive marketing strategy going into the program to have the most positive marketing ROI that you can get. So
Absolutely. That I feel like I have given that speech before because I talk about brands a lot and how you need cohesiveness and you need to make sure you're consistent across your platforms and all that consistency is going to be even
and
more.
there is so much truth to that people who are not experienced in the market or in the space do not they're not able to convey because they don't know it. So I cannot iterate how correct your statement is and how important it is. So
Yeah, that's just gets down to the fundamentals, which I think are such a key thing. Well, Joel, this has been a great conversation. I feel like I know so much more about your business, even though we've been working together for a few months. I know so much more about that, and I think it's such imperative information to know. I do want to ask you as a final question, if you had anything else to say about your own business, the strategic advisor board or your own business. And then the second thing I wanted to ask is you have created this amazing platform and it's all because of you're passionate about it and you put a bunch of time into it and it's your expertise that comes from a variety of background and variety of experiences. What would you say to the person out there that's thinking about stepping out and creating a business and monetizing their own expertise? So those would be the two areas that I would ask you to wrap up this interview. So
sure. With ProShark, customer service is what makes a company grow. Period. It's if you have reputation is everything, and if you take care of your clients, that leads to positive experience, which leads to warm referral. Warm referrals always going to be your best form of advertising there is. And that's why community is so important, because whether they belong to your community currently or in the future, if you treat the customer right and you do a good job for them, then they will pass it along to their warm market, who will pass it along to their warm market. So I would say that focus on customer service. It's a lost art for many companies, and it's one that I would say is the most important in developing loyalty and community. Um, with regard to the strategic advisor board, I can't stress enough, no matter what level your company is at, whether you're just starting or whether you're a $10 million a year company looking to get to the next level, visit the website, go through the quick assessment, go through the quick questionnaire. The platform will put you in the place that you're supposed to be based on your company size, your revenue, employees, etc. And if you answer those questions honestly and truthfully, you're going to find that the answers are there. You just simply need to ask. We will have an expert contact you. You can call us and ask us any questions. You can email us. You can do whatever you want. And that's true of ProShark as well. Any questions that you have in the technology space, any questions that I don't know what this would cost, or I don't know if this is the right move for me, just give us a call or drop us a line and we'll answer that for you. Because we understand that if you have the right information, then you can make the right decisions. So, and there was a
absolutely.
second part to your question. What was it?
Yeah, if you had any advice or any vision for those potential or those entrepreneurs out there that are looking at transforming their expertise into a product, monetizing your expertise, because you have done that in your own business. You've created a business around your expertise, and a very successful one. So somebody that's thinking about that, what would you say to the person that was thinking about this, stepping out and monetizing their expertise?
Number one, do what you love, because it's easy to get past those days where, as a solopreneur, you have to put in all those extra hours. It's so enjoyable that it's not really work. And then if you can take your expertise and apply it to something that you enjoy doing, then you're not working a day in your life, and it all comes joyfully. And when you have that enjoyment in doing what you do, it's contagious. It just is. So
Absolutely. Joel, I am so glad that we're working together. It's so fun, and it's really great to get to know you and a little bit more about your business and the value that you provide to your clients and how you fit into this larger framework of the Strategic Advisor Board. And I very much look forward to our future working together. And I appreciate you coming on today with all of your knowledge and pearls of wisdom for those out there that are trying to make it through as an entrepreneur. So thank you very much for coming.
my pleasure. And let me just say thank you for all that I've learned from you and the rest of the team as well, because it's a wealth of knowledge that, I learn something new every day. That's what I strive to do.
And it's pretty great that we can do that in a group. So
Yes, it is.
yeah, it's great. All right.
Perfect.
Well, that wraps up the podcast today, the Strategic Advisor Board Special in Expertise podcast. I look forward to speaking to you all next time. And thanks again, Joel.
Thank you.